The vast chamber stretched endlessly, a circle of polished metal and glass floating in the blackness of space. Hundreds of beings from different worlds gathered there, their forms strange, colorful, and intimidating. Tall, thin creatures with shining eyes floated above the floor. Others, with shells like armored tanks, moved with deliberate strength. In the center of it all, Earth hung silently on a holographic display, small, fragile, yet alive. Kale, the Earth ambassador, stood at the front of the human delegation. He was not tall, and his uniform was simple compared to the elaborate robes and armors of the council members. But his posture was straight, and his calm gaze carried a quiet confidence. He looked at the representatives, feeling the weight of the galaxy's judgment pressing down on him. The chamber was alive with whispers and murmurs. Every alien present had their eyes on the humans, measuring them, mocking them, unsure what to expect. The Galactic Council had not taken Earth seriously before, and that mistake had been costly in the past. Now, with humans standing in their presence, they had to decide whether to continue ignoring this small, primitive planet or take action that could change the course of the galaxy forever. A tall, golden-skinned alien with multiple eyes, known as Supreme Arbiter Theros, stepped forward. His voice echoed across the chamber, deep and vibrating. "Earthlings," he said, "you stand accused of reckless expansion. Your technology is primitive, your fleet's insignificant. You threaten the peace of the galaxy. Explain why we should not destroy your planet and end your interference permanently." Kyle's hands rested lightly on the podium. He spoke calmly, choosing his words with care. "Honorable members of the Council, Earth has always sought peace. Our exploration has been cautious. Our colonies and research are aimed at understanding the universe, not harming it. We ask for dialogue, not war." A ripple of laughter spread through the chamber. The aliens whispered to each other, their confidence clear. Humans, they were not supposed to be clever. Their words were like the chirping of a small insect in the face of a roaring storm. Yet Kale did not flinch. He had prepared for this moment for years. Every detail of the council, every political maneuver, every historical argument had been studied. Humans may have been small in size and in numbers, but they had the sharpest minds on their planet. Theros raised a hand, silencing the chamber.
"Dialogue?"
he repeated, his many eyes narrowing. "You expect us to believe that your species, which barely mastered interstellar travel, poses no threat? History shows that small civilizations are crushed when they resist the natural order of the galaxy." Kale nodded respectfully. "We do not deny your strength, Supreme Arbiter. But power is not measured by size or fleet numbers alone. Humanity has abilities you may not yet understand. We adapt, we learn, we anticipate, we turn the impossible into reality when survival demands it." The chamber fell silent. Alien representatives exchanged skeptical glances. Some whispered warnings to one another, dismissing Kale's words as bold but meaningless. Yet there was a faint tension in the air, something the Council could not identify fully. Humans were not supposed to inspire fear in beings who had ruled sectors of space for centuries. Kale continued, his voice steady, carrying over the whispers. "Our scientists have studied your fleets. We have simulated your strategies. We have prepared countermeasures for many eventualities. And yet we come here not as aggressors, but as diplomats seeking understanding. War is not in our nature, but we are not defenseless." From somewhere in the back of the chamber, a representative from the planet Xeron, tall and covered in reflective scales, hissed. "Your words are meaningless," it said. "We have observed your planet. Your ships are slow. Your weapons are weak. You could not harm us if you tried." Kale's lips curled into the faintest smile. He knew the Council had underestimated humans for generations. That underestimation would soon become their mistake. "We understand your observations," he replied. "But sometimes strength is hidden, and the most dangerous power comes when it is least expected. The galaxy may see humans as weak, but weakness can be a mask." A murmur of curiosity and disbelief swept through the chamber. No one had ever spoken like this to the Council before, especially a human. Kale's confidence was not arrogance. It was certainty, the certainty of preparation and intelligence. He could feel the eyes of every being in the room studying him, trying to see the truth behind his calm demeanor. Then, without warning, the lights in the chamber flickered. A subtle pulse of energy, faint and almost imperceptible, ran through the floor and walls. The humans did not react. They were used to strange things in space. But the alien representatives stiffened. Machines and instruments registered anomalies. Whispered questions arose. What is this? Is it a weapon? Kyle took a deep breath and continued unfazed. The pulse you see is not a threat. It is a demonstration of potential. Humans have always turned knowledge into action, thought into reality. What you underestimate may one day surprise you. Not with destruction, but with ingenuity that changes the course of battle and diplomacy alike. Supreme Arbiter. Tharos's many eyes flickered. He spoke more slowly this time, considering the human words. You speak boldly, Earthling. Your species claims to possess hidden power, and yet you stand here alone and small with words. How do we know these claims are true? Kale's gaze swept the chamber. You may not know. You may never fully understand us until we are forced to act. But history, even on your planets, has shown that underestimation is often the greatest error a species can make. We ask only for respect and a chance to prove that humans are not a threat to peace, unless peace is threatened first. The chamber was tense. Alien representatives leaned forward, some scowling, others intrigued. Whispers grew louder, debates began, and Kyle knew that he had planted the first seed of doubt. The council had always been confident in its absolute authority. Now, uncertainty flickered in their thoughts. Outside the chamber, on Earth, the news of the council's hearing was broadcast. People of all ages gathered around screens, listening to every word. Scientists whispered excitedly about Kale's words and the strange pulse. Soldiers and fleet commanders exchanged looks of determination. The human spirit was awakening, ready for what the galaxy would soon demand of them. Kale turned briefly to his team. He saw the determination in their eyes. Elena Voss, head of the Interstellar Defense Command, gave him a nod. Her calm but fierce presence was a reminder that humans were not defenseless. Every member of the delegation carried their own expertise, knowledge, and courage. They were ready for what lay ahead. Back in the chamber, Tharos spoke again, this time with more caution. Very well, Earthlings. We will deliberate. You will remain under observation. Any action against the Council or its allies will be met with immediate retaliation. Know that the galaxy watches your every move. Kyle inclined his head respectfully. Understood. And we will watch carefully as well. Humanity does not seek war, but we do not flee from it. We survive, adapt, and endure. That is who we are. The council members began their discussions, their whispers growing into full conversations. Humans were small, yes, but the energy in the room had shifted subtly. The pulse, still faint but persistent, seemed to linger in the air. Alien minds could sense it, though none could explain it. Something about Earth, something about humans, was not as simple as they believed. Kale stepped back from the podium. His role was done for now. The first impression had been made. The council may still doubt, still underestimate, but a seed of uncertainty had been planted. Humans were clever, resourceful, and unpredictable, and the galaxy, for all its might and technology, had yet to see the full potential of Earth. As the delegation returned to their quarters, Kale allowed himself a quiet smile. Humanity's time was coming. They were small, they were underestimated, and yet they held a power unseen and unimagined by even the most powerful beings in the galaxy. And when the time came to reveal it, the Council would understand what humans were capable of. Not through words alone, but through action. For now, the first stage was complete. Kale looked at Earth hanging on the holographic display, glowing softly in the darkness of space. Humanity had survived the first judgment. But survival was only the beginning. The galaxy had declared its war of words and threats. The humans would strike back, not yet with weapons, but with their greatest strength, intelligence, strategy, and the courage to defy expectation. And in that quiet, suspended moment, the chamber itself seemed to hum with the possibility of change. The story of humanity, once small and insignificant, was about to enter a new chapter, a chapter that no being in the galaxy could ignore. The Council's chamber doors closed, sealing humans and aliens in separate areas of the massive space station. Outside, the galaxy watched silently. On Earth, news screens showed the end of the hearing. People stood in crowded rooms, some cheering quietly, some nervous, unsure what would happen next. Humans had survived the first challenge, but the threat of war now hung over them like a shadow. In the human command center, deep underground on Earth, Commander Elena Voss stood over a digital map of the solar system. Her sharp eyes scanned fleets, colonies, and projected movements. Every display flickered with the potential of war. She turned to Kale, who had returned from the council. his expression calm but thoughtful. "We've survived their first judgment," she said, "but this is only the beginning. The Council will act. They will not let humanity remain unchecked." Kyle nodded. "They do not understand us yet. They see only our fleets, our weapons, and our technology. They do not see what we can truly do. But we have time. Not much, but enough." Voss's finger traced the paths of Earth's small fleet units. "We are smaller, yes, but we are faster, smarter. They underestimate human strategy. That is our advantage. We can move in ways they cannot predict. But preparation is key. Every planet, every fleet, every ally or enemy, we must calculate everything." In another room, scientists worked at glowing consoles. They were activating projects that had long been considered impossible by other species. Plasma shields that could bend matter around a ship, stealth drives that made human fleets invisible to standard scans, and experimental AI systems that could analyze battle patterns faster than any alien mind. For decades, these had been silent projects, classified and hidden. Now they were humanity's secret edge. Meanwhile, diplomatic envoys maintained a presence in the Council's observation halls. They did not speak often, but their role was critical. Kyle coordinated quietly with alien factions that had grown skeptical of the Council's decisions. Whispers of doubt spread among them, fueled by the humans' calm confidence. The galaxy's politics, fragile and divided, were beginning to shift. Some factions quietly offered support, not for loyalty to humans, but to exploit the chaos that Earth could bring. Voss turned to her officers. "Every system we control is a potential battlefield. Every trade route, every colony, every communication line, we must secure them. The Council will strike first, thinking they can crush us with overwhelming force. But they have no idea how we fight. Our strength is in unpredictability, coordination, and the intelligence of our people." As humans prepared, the Council met in private chambers. Supreme Arbiter Theros and other members discussed the unusual confidence of humans. "They speak boldly for a primitive species," one member said, its voice trembling with uncertainty. "And that energy fluctuation during the hearing, it cannot be ignored. Could Earth be hiding something we cannot see?" The discussion grew heated. Some Council members advocated immediate attacks, while others argued for caution. "If we underestimate them," one said, "we could face consequences we cannot foresee. Perhaps they are more capable than they appear. Yet do we risk waiting?" Back on Earth, Kyle observed the Council's actions through intercepted communications. He and Voss understood that time was both an enemy and an ally. Humans had to act carefully, revealing enough strength to deter aggression but holding their most potent abilities in reserve. Suddenly, alarms blared across the command center. Sensors detected Council fleets moving, scanning for weaknesses near Earth's borders. Voss's hands moved over the control panel. "They are testing us," she said. "Small units probing our defenses, looking for patterns. Stay calm. Do not engage unless necessary." Kale watched the movement, analyzing the signals. They expect predictability. They will act in ways their history has taught them. We must be different. We must respond with logic and creativity, not brute force. That is humanity's edge. Hours passed. The Council's fleets made several cautious maneuvers, each met with precise human countermeasures. Using the stealth fleets, humans repositioned entire squadrons without detection. They simulated attacks to mislead the aliens, creating false targets and decoys. Each move was calculated, tested against dozens of scenarios and AI simulations. The aliens could not anticipate the humans' speed and ingenuity. Meanwhile, diplomats worked quietly to stir unease among the Council factions. Kale contacted leaders of smaller species that often felt oppressed by the Council. He offered them glimpses of humanity's strategy and subtle hints that the Council might fail if it acted aggressively. The seeds of doubt spread quickly. Some factions began to reconsider, realizing that siding against humans could be dangerous. Back on the front lines, a small Council squadron approached the orbit of Mars. Humans had prepared for this. Stealth drones created illusions, making it appear that Earth's defenses were weak. The Council ships took the bait, sending units closer. Then, with precision, human fleets struck from hidden positions. Pulses of energy disrupted alien shields, and plasma nets slowed their movements. The Council forces were confused, unsure how humans could anticipate their every move. In the control room, Voss watched every action on the holographic display. "Do you see?" she said. "We are smaller, but our strategy turns that into strength. They expect simple reactions. We give them complexity. They expect fear. We give them resolve, Kale added. And this is only the beginning. The galaxy may see humans as weak, but weakness can be a mask. Patience, observation, and cleverness, these are our weapons before we ever fire a shot. As the night passed on Earth, citizens looked up at the stars, unaware of the hidden battles taking place. In homes, schools, and public spaces, humans prepared quietly. Scientists continued experiments, engineers improved fleets, and soldiers trained relentlessly. The world was united in a way never seen before, united by the threat and the promise of survival. The next day, a council envoy contacted Kale directly. Its tone was careful, measured, unlike the arrogance of the previous meeting. Earth, it said, we have observed your movements. We recognize your intelligence and coordination. But do not test the patience of the galaxy. Submit to our authority or face consequences. Kale's response was calm, polite, but firm. We have always sought peace. We wish only to live and grow alongside the galaxy. But humanity does not bow to threats. We adapt, we endure, and when necessary, we act decisively. You have not seen our full capabilities. The envoy paused, then ended communication abruptly. The message was clear. The council was worried. Doubt had crept in. Humans had survived a day of threat and demonstration, but they were still under pressure. Voss gathered her team. We continue preparations. Defense, diplomacy, observation. Every move counts. The council will act, and when they do, we must be ready. We do not fight for conquest. We fight for survival, for our planet, for humanity itself. Kyle looked at her, nodding. And when the time comes, the galaxy will understand that humans are not simple, not weak, and not predictable. They will see what we have hidden behind patience and preparation. The first strike is not always the loudest. It is often the one that comes when the opponent least expects it. Even as they spoke, outside the command center, human fleets moved through space unseen and silent. Cloaked ships glided past asteroid belts, monitoring council fleets, gathering data, and preparing contingencies. Every soldier, pilot, and engineer knew their role. Every decision, every action was deliberate, coordinated, and precise. For the council, humans remained a curiosity. Small, seemingly weak, and yet unsettlingly capable. For Earth, every moment of preparation, every act of observation, and every careful deployment was a step toward survival. And while the council deliberated and whispered among themselves, humans worked quietly, readying a response that no alien would expect. At the center of the command center, Kale paused and looked at Earth on the holomap. We are ready, he said softly. They do not know us yet, but soon they will. And when they do, the galaxy will see what humanity can achieve. As the stars shone quietly outside, the humans of Earth waited, prepared, and calculated. Their patience was not weakness. Their restraint was not fear. Every moment was part of a plan, every action a piece of strategy. The galaxy had declared war in words, but humanity was quietly preparing a response in ways the council could not imagine. And so, the stage was set. The first challenge had passed. The council had tested humanity's patience and intelligence. Humans had responded not with panic, but with strategy, foresight, and calm. The galaxy watched. The council debated, and Earth moved silently, preparing for the day when hidden strength would reveal itself in ways no being in the stars could foresee. The first strike came without warning. At the edge of the solar system, human stealth fleets emerged from the shadows of asteroid fields and gas clouds. They moved silently, invisible to the standard detection systems of the Council's patrols. Every pilot, every officer, every technician knew the plan. Precision was their greatest weapon. Humanity would not rush into battle blindly. They would use strategy, prediction, and the full advantage of their hidden technology. Commander Elena Voss sat at the helm of the flagship Aegis, her eyes scanning the holographic display. Small fleets of Council scouts had begun probing near Mars and the asteroid belt. Voss smiled slightly. The Council believed they were testing humanity's defenses. They did not know they were stepping into a trap. Kale, at her side, monitored communication channels. They think they are gathering intelligence, he said. But every movement they make is already calculated by our AI. Every maneuver is predicted. They are walking into our strategy without realizing it. On board smaller human ships, pilots adjusted their cloaking devices. Energy fields shimmered around hulls, bending light and radar, making the ships invisible to alien sensors. Each vessel carried a combination of conventional weaponry, experimental plasma disruptors, and advanced tactical AI guidance. It was not brute strength that would win this engagement. It was coordination, timing, and the ability to strike with surprise. The Council scouts approached a mining station near the asteroid belt, believing it to be lightly defended. Instead, they encountered a series of holographic projections and decoy ships. Lasers fired from hidden positions. Energy pulses disrupted their shields, and false signals made them think they were surrounded by dozens of fleets. Confusion spread quickly among the alien ranks. They had never faced an enemy who could manipulate perception so completely. From the Aegis, Voss coordinated the attack with calm authority. Focus fire on the central squadron. Keep the decoys in place. Let them waste energy on what is not real. Do not engage unless necessary. Let them reveal themselves first. Kale watched the Council's reactions with satisfaction. Alien commanders barked orders, trying to regroup their forces. Some began pulling back, unsure of what they were facing. Others sent signals to their fleets farther out, demanding reinforcements. The human response was always one step ahead. Using predictive AI, humans anticipated these reinforcements and adjusted their formations accordingly, striking when the aliens were at their most vulnerable. As the engagement continued, a strange pulse appeared again, similar to the one during the Council hearing. It rippled through space near the human fleet, subtle but detectable by advanced sensors. Council officers scanned frantically, unable to identify its source. Some whispered fears about humans possessing abilities beyond technology, hints of energy manipulation that no other species could replicate. The humans did not panic. They had studied this pulse for years. It was part of their plan. A controlled release of energy to confuse enemy sensors, disrupt targeting systems, and give human fleets the advantage. To the Council, it looked mysterious, powerful, and dangerous. To humans, it was another tool, precise and predictable. On board the Aegis, Voss gave her orders calmly. Maintain formation. Keep pressure but conserve energy. Our goal is to test them, not to destroy their entire fleet yet. Make them believe our strength is greater than it seems. Meanwhile, Kale coordinated with diplomats monitoring alien factions. Reports arrived that some of the Council's member species were beginning to doubt the overall strategy. Small groups whispered that Earth could not be ignored, and that the arrogance of the Council might lead to disaster. Kale noted the shifts in tone. Every ripple of doubt was an advantage, every small uncertainty a chance to manipulate politics in humanity's favor. The battle extended for hours. Human fleets appeared and disappeared, striking where the aliens least expected. Alien ships had advanced weapons and faster engines, but they could not match human unpredictability. Every attack human ships executed was carefully timed, taking advantage of the enemy's assumptions and overconfidence. At one point, a Council frigate tried to flank the human formation near the asteroid belt. Voss anticipated the move, divert the swarm to their rear, block their path with energy nets. Channel them toward our central fleet, she ordered. The human ships moved with synchronized precision, trapping the alien vessel. Its shields faltered under combined pressure from multiple angles. With a final pulse of energy, the frigate was disabled. Its crew was unharmed, but the message was clear. Humans were not as weak as the Council believed. Kale watched the operation unfold, noting the reactions in the alien communications he intercepted. They are unsettled, he said. They expected easy prey. Now they see a species that does not panic, that adapts instantly. That is a dangerous thing for the Council to underestimate. Outside the battle, Earth citizens followed the news with tense fascination. Broadcasts of the engagement showed silhouettes of ships emerging from shadows, striking with precision, and disappearing before retaliation could occur. Some observers marveled at human courage, while others feared the potential for escalation. No one could deny that humanity had taken the first step in demonstrating its unseen power. Voss gave one last order as the engagement neared its conclusion. Hold positions. Let them retreat. We have shown them what we can do. Do not pursue unless absolutely necessary. Their fear and uncertainty are more valuable than destruction right now. Human ships pulled back, disappearing into the shadows of the asteroid belt. The Council's forces were left confused, battered in pride more than in ships. Many alien commanders reported back with warnings that humanity was not to be underestimated. The Council itself began to question its earlier assumptions. Kale and Voss met briefly after the battle. Both were calm but aware of the stakes. They will respond, Voss said. The Council cannot ignore this. They will escalate. But we have demonstrated our capabilities and bought time. That is what matters, Kale nodded. They believe they have seen our strength, but the full extent of what humanity can do is still hidden. Our best weapons are not yet revealed. Our intelligence, strategy, and ability to adapt will continue to surprise them. In the aftermath, the pulse of energy lingered in space near the battle site. Scientists on Earth analyzed its effects, noting its ability to disrupt alien sensors without causing harm to life. It was a controlled, precise display of power, proof that humans could influence even the most advanced technology with ingenuity and planning. Diplomats working with alien factions reported new shifts. Some members of the Council had begun quietly suggesting restraint, fearing further encounters with humans. The whispers of doubt spread quietly. An invisible weapon as powerful as any fleet. Kale used these reports to refine future strategies, understanding that war would not only be fought with ships and weapons, but with influence, planning, and human cunning. The day ended quietly on Earth. Humans looked up at the night sky, unaware of the full implications of the first engagement. The Council had been tested and unsettled, but humanity knew that this was only the beginning. Every scientist, soldier, and diplomat prepared for the coming days, understanding that survival required more than courage. It required strategy, coordination, and a willingness to act decisively when the moment arrived. Voss reviewed reports of human fleet positions and readiness. They think they can predict us, she said to her officers. Let them think. Every move we make will be designed to confuse and control the outcome. We do not have the largest fleet, but we have something stronger. A mind that never stops thinking, a strategy that adapts, and a species that does not give up. Kale stood beside her, looking at Earth glowing softly in orbit. The Council believes they are in control. They do not understand that the real strength of humanity is invisible. It is patience, calculation, and ingenuity. We do not strike blindly. We strike with purpose, and when the time comes, they will see the full extent of our power. Even as the fleets rested, silent and unseen in shadowed positions, humans continued to prepare. Engineers worked on ships, scientists experimented with new energy systems, and diplomats observed the political landscape of the Council, noting alliances, rivalries, and weaknesses. Every moment was used wisely, every action measured, every decision deliberate. The first engagement had changed the tone of the galaxy. The Council had been tested, its assumptions challenged. Humans had not only defended themselves but had demonstrated that intelligence and strategy could outweigh size and technology. The galaxy began to see that Earth was not simply a small, primitive planet, but a force with hidden strength and unanticipated potential. As night fell over Earth, Voss and Kale met one last time in the command center. They were quiet, knowing the Council would not remain idle for long. This is just the beginning, Voss said. We have shown our strength, but the real test is coming. They will push and we must respond. Every advantage, every secret, every plan will be needed. Kyle nodded. We are ready. The Council believes they have faced humans, but they have only seen the first layer. When the next move comes, we will be prepared. Humanity's unseen power is only beginning to reveal itself. The galaxy held its breath as the Council prepared for retaliation. Alien fleets moved cautiously, their officers exchanging worried glances. Reports from scouts and sensors described human maneuvers that defied logic, fleets appearing where they were not expected, attacks coming from directions no enemy had predicted. The Council had never faced a species like this, and doubt had begun to spread among its member factions. On Earth, Commander Elena Voss and Ambassador Kale reviewed intelligence gathered from the previous engagements. They will strike harder this time, Voss said, her voice steady but firm. They are angry and they believe the only way to assert control is to overwhelm us. But they still do not understand the full scope of humanity's abilities. Kyle nodded. Our strength is not only in our fleets. It is in our people, our minds, and our ability to act together as one. The Council believes that force alone wins battles. They have not seen the power of coordination, prediction, and adaptability. Scientists in underground labs worked tirelessly. Energy shields that could bend light and matter were activated and tested in simulations. Stealth systems were refined to near perfection. allowing ships to move without detection even by the most advanced alien sensors. Experimental AI processed countless scenarios, predicting enemy moves and calculating responses faster than any council system could react. These preparations were silent, invisible, and crucial. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts continued quietly. Kyle reached out to alien factions who had begun questioning the council's judgment. Many were reluctant to openly oppose the council, but they were interested in seeing what humans could do. Subtle alliances were forming, not from loyalty but from caution and self-interest. The whispers of doubt became a silent advantage for humanity, a network of uncertainty that undermined the council's authority. The first warning came when small council probe ships entered the outer reaches of the solar system, testing Earth's defenses again. Human fleets remained hidden, observing. Voss gave her orders calmly. Do not engage yet. Let them probe, let them test. Each move they make reveals their strategy. Each error is an opportunity. The probes moved as predicted, following patterns calculated by human AI. Then, without warning, the humans acted. Stealth fleets appeared from multiple directions, striking the probes with precise energy bursts that disabled them instantly. Alien sensors recorded nothing until the last moment, leaving the council confused and alarmed. The humans had used strategy, deception, and timing to achieve a decisive effect without engaging a full fleet. Voss observed the operation. They are beginning to fear us. Their caution increases, but they do not understand why. We control the flow of battle without firing full weapons. That is the power they cannot measure. Kale smiled faintly. They see the outcome, not the preparation behind it. Every strike we make is the result of careful planning, intelligence, and coordination. This is only the beginning. We have more to reveal. Behind the scenes, a new human capability was quietly activated. Using a psychic-linked network, scientists and fleet commanders could communicate instantly without conventional signals. Thoughts, strategies, and adjustments flowed seamlessly between ships and control centers. The Council's most advanced detection systems could not detect this network. It allowed humans to coordinate attacks and maneuvers, as if every officer and pilot shared one mind. In the Council chambers, alien leaders debated furiously. Earth has powers we cannot measure, one said. Their fleets appear and disappear. Their attacks are precise, and yet they are small. How is this possible? Another member argued. Perhaps it is only luck. Perhaps they are clever, but they cannot sustain this against our main fleets. But reports continued to arrive. More probes were disabled before reaching Mars. More Council ships reported strange pulses of energy that disrupted their instruments. And factions within the Council began to question whether they had misjudged humanity entirely. On the battlefield, human ships executed maneuvers that seemed impossible. Cloaked squadrons circled alien fleets undetected, striking at weak points with plasma disruptors that temporarily disabled engines and shields. At the same time, energy pulses caused by controlled gravitational fields shifted enemy ships slightly off course, creating chaos among formations. Every action was calculated, every effect measured, and yet it appeared chaotic to the enemy. Voss coordinated every movement from the Aegis. Hold positions here. Use the pulses to disrupt their targeting. Let the smaller ships strike first. Maintain the network link. Every move counts. The human pilots connected to the psychic-linked network responded instantly. Their actions were synchronized, precise, and efficient. Alien forces could not understand how a small fleet could outmaneuver larger, better-equipped ships with such speed and accuracy. In the Council chambers, Supreme Arbiter Theros's voice was tense. Earth is not what we thought. Their fleets are coordinated beyond expectation. They manipulate energy fields in ways we cannot anticipate. Some among you doubted us before. How can we ignore this now? Aliens whispered. Some feared openly that the humans possessed abilities beyond conventional technology. Others argued for immediate retaliation, insisting that caution would embolden Earth. But the Council's unity was weakening. The strategic advantage humans had gained through preparation, intelligence, and deception was growing with every engagement. On Earth, Voss and Kale studied the Council's responses carefully. They are becoming reactive, Kale noted. They do not know how to predict us. That is our advantage. We will continue to prepare. When the full engagement comes, they will be unready. Voss added, we cannot be reckless. Every demonstration must be precise. We cannot reveal everything too soon. We show strength, but we hold our greatest power in reserve. That is the key to survival and victory. As humans moved silently through space, the Council attempted to consolidate their forces near Jupiter. They deployed larger squadrons, expecting to crush humanity with superior numbers. But the humans were ready. Cloaked strike teams flanked the Council fleets, cutting off supply lines and disabling communication satellites. Every move the aliens attempted was countered before it could take effect. The pulse of energy, still subtle but present, interfered with Council navigation systems. Ships collided or veered off course, causing chaos among their ranks. The humans did not need to destroy these ships completely. Confusion, uncertainty, and fear were enough to achieve the objective. Voss watched the displays, calm and precise. Every step we take teaches them a lesson. Every disruption shows them we cannot be predicted. They are powerful, yes, but they are rigid. We are adaptable. That is our true strength. Kyle turned to her. And the galaxy notices. Even those who do not fight will observe. Every Council member now knows that Earth cannot be ignored. That knowledge alone is power. In one daring move, a group of human ships used gravitational manipulation to shift the orbit of a nearby asteroid, sending it silently through the path of a Council fleet. The aliens panicked, attempting evasive maneuvers, only to find themselves herded by the humans' unseen tactics. No lives were lost. No planet was harmed. But the effect was dramatic. The Council forces realized that humans could turn the environment itself into a weapon. Across the galaxy, alien diplomats reported to the Council that Earth's tactics were unlike anything seen before. Some began to question whether war was a wise choice. Others feared that the humans' hidden abilities were growing too dangerous to ignore. The unity of the Council weakened further, and humanity's position became stronger with each action. On Earth, citizens watched broadcasts of human fleets striking with precision and vanishing into darkness. People cheered quietly, inspired by the ingenuity and courage of their species. Scientists smiled at the realization that decades of secret research had finally paid off. Soldiers and pilots prepared for the next engagement, knowing the true battle was still to come. Voss turned to Kale as the day ended. They think they have seen us, but this is only a fraction of our power. Our fleets, our technology, our coordination. They have seen some, but not all. When the next conflict begins, the galaxy will understand what humanity can truly do. Kale nodded. Yes, patience, planning, and preparation are our weapons now. The Council believes it controls the galaxy, but humans are changing the rules. We do not fight blindly. We fight smart. And when we act fully, they will see what we are capable of. Unseen power that cannot be ignored. As night fell over Earth, fleets rested in hidden positions. Systems were monitored, energy fields recalibrated, and pilots trained quietly. Scientists analyzed data, improving every weapon and shield. Diplomats continued to work subtly, spreading doubt and uncertainty among Council factions. Every effort was synchronized, part of a larger plan that humans had designed carefully. The first battles had been tests, demonstrations, and warnings. The Council had been unsettled, forced to recognize humanity's unexpected capabilities. Humans had revealed just enough to inspire doubt, fear, and caution, but had held back their most dangerous abilities. The galaxy now understood one truth. Humanity was not weak, it was not predictable, and it was not to be underestimated. The galaxy was tense. Alien fleets gathered in sectors near Earth, their officers arguing, worried, and confused. The Council had expected to crush humanity quickly, but the humans had proven smarter, faster, and more unpredictable than anyone imagined. Rumors of unseen power spread from fleet to fleet, and fear had begun to replace confidence. The final phase of humanity's plan was about to unfold. On Earth, Commander Elena Voss stood at the command center, her eyes scanning the display of the solar system. Hundreds of human ships moved silently in calculated patterns, hidden and ready. Today, she said quietly to Kale, we reveal the full strength of humanity. The Council has underestimated us at every step, and now they will see what we are truly capable of. Kyle nodded. Everything we have built, everything we have prepared leads to this moment. Our intelligence, coordination, and technology have been enough to confuse and weaken them. But now we show our full power. The galaxy will understand that humanity cannot be ignored. Scientists and engineers had completed the final stages of their most advanced projects. Energy shields that could bend matter, stealth systems that rendered ships invisible, plasma disruptors, and the psychic-linked network were fully active. Every ship, every weapon, and every command system was synchronized, Humans were no longer merely reactive. They were in complete control. Diplomatic channels also played their part. Kale had communicated secretly with alien factions that doubted the Council's decisions. Quietly, some smaller species had withdrawn support from the Council, their fleets remaining neutral. Others prepared to observe humanity's actions carefully, unsure where they should align. The humans' strategy was complete. Not only were their fleets prepared, but the Council's political unity had weakened. In space, the first Council fleets approached the outer solar system. They had gathered large numbers intending to overwhelm Earth's defenses. Yet every move they made had been predicted. Human ships emerged from stealth positions, striking at supply lines, disabling weapons, and creating confusion. The Council officers were astonished. Ships that should have been visible remained hidden. Attacks came from impossible angles. Communications faltered, and some fleets hesitated. Voss coordinated every action from the Aegis. "Target their engines first," she said calmly. "Use gravitational pulses to disorient their formations. Maintain the network link. Let them realize they cannot control the battlefield." Kale watched the Council's reactions. They are panicking. Their fleets are large but disorganized. They expected predictable humans. They did not expect coordinated intelligence, strategy, and speed. In a daring move, human ships used gravitational manipulation to shift several asteroids into the path of the Council's fleets. Alien ships attempted evasive maneuvers, but the humans' precise calculations allowed them to avoid harm while herding the enemy into disadvantageous positions. No lives were lost, but the effect was dramatic. Council commanders realized that humans could use the environment itself as a weapon, something no other species had managed. The psychic-linked network played a critical role. Every human ship communicated instantly, coordinating maneuvers, strikes, and diversions without transmitting any detectable signal. Council officers could not understand how humans were always one step ahead. Every attack and counterattack was synchronized perfectly, like the motions of a single organism rather than separate fleets. Voss smiled faintly as she watched the battle unfold. "They cannot see our coordination. They cannot predict it. That is humanity's true power," Kyle added, "and the galaxy notices. Every species observing now understands that humans are not simple, weak, or predictable. We have become a force they cannot ignore." As the Council struggled, some alien factions began defecting quietly, offering observation and intelligence to humans instead of participating in the battle. The Council's unity crumbled under pressure, its members arguing about strategy, fear, and uncertainty. Humans had not fired the largest weapons yet, but they had already shifted the balance. On board the Aegis, Voss gave the final orders. "Deploy full energy shields. Activate disruptors. Move the main fleet into position. Let the Council see the full scale of human coordination. Strike decisively when they are most vulnerable." The fleets moved as one. Energy pulses distorted space near Council ships, disrupting sensors and targeting systems. Stealth ships struck key points, disabling engines and communications. Alien forces attempted to regroup, but every maneuver had already been anticipated. Every Council ship that tried to advance found itself trapped, herded by unseen forces into positions where escape was difficult. On Earth, citizens watched broadcasts of the engagement. Ships emerged from nowhere, disabling larger fleets with precise non-lethal strikes. People cheered quietly, inspired and awed. Scientists, engineers, and military personnel felt pride in humanity's ingenuity and coordination. Every secret project, every hidden system, every experiment had contributed to this moment. Kyle observed the enemy's panic. They are learning the truth too late. Humanity is not defined by size, numbers, or brute force. We win because of intelligence, coordination, and creativity. That is power no one else in the galaxy possesses. The final maneuver came near Jupiter. Human ships surrounded a major Council fleet, using gravitational and energy pulses to immobilize key vessels. Cloaked ships attacked simultaneously from multiple angles. The Council's forces, though large, were unable to respond effectively. Their attempts to regroup were countered instantly by human AI predictions and the psychic-linked network. Chaos spread among the Council ranks and panic became widespread. In the Council chambers, Supreme Arbiter Theros's many eyes widened. "This is impossible," he said. "Their fleets are small, yet coordinated beyond comprehension. They manipulate space itself. How can this be?" Reports continued to pour in from smaller factions. Many began questioning whether the council had overstepped. Some quietly withdrew support or prepared to observe further. Alien commanders recognized that the humans' hidden abilities were now fully revealed. They had underestimated a species that could adapt instantly, think faster than any AI, and coordinate as if every individual were one mind. Voss spoke calmly to her officers. This is the moment we have prepared for. Every strike, every maneuver, every pulse demonstrates what humanity is capable of. We are not conquerors, we are survivors. But our strength is now clear to the galaxy, and the Council will not forget this day. Kel addressed the remaining Council communications. We offer peace. Respect Earth's sovereignty and recognize humanity as a pivotal force in the galaxy. Ignore this warning at your own peril. We do not seek to destroy, but we will defend, adapt, and endure. That is who we are. The Council members fell silent. The combined human power, strategy, and coordination had left them with little choice. They could no longer act arrogantly or underestimate Earth. Every report confirmed that humanity's abilities were beyond what any other species could predict or counter. Outside, in the dark reaches of space, human fleets moved in controlled patterns, maintaining dominance without excessive destruction. Every ship, every pilot, and every scientist understood the significance of restraint and precision. Humans had revealed their power fully but wisely, showing strength without unnecessary harm. Voss looked at the glowing Earth suspended in orbit. We have shown the galaxy who we are. They will respect us even if they fear us. This is the start of a new chapter, one where humanity cannot be ignored, underestimated, or dismissed. Kale nodded. The Council believed they controlled the galaxy. They believed they understood the humans. They were wrong. Today they have learned the consequences of underestimation. Humanity's unseen power is no longer hidden. The galaxy will remember this day. As the fleets returned to hidden positions, systems recalibrated, and ships powered down from active battle mode, the citizens of Earth reflected on what had happened. The species that had been underestimated, mocked, and overlooked had proven its ingenuity, intelligence, and strategic brilliance. Humanity had survived not through sheer numbers or brute force, but through cunning, coordination, and hidden abilities that no other species had expected. Voss and Kale met quietly in the command center. The war is over for now, Voss said, but the galaxy will never see humanity the same way again. They understand that we are capable, adaptable, and unpredictable. That knowledge itself is a weapon. Kale smiled faintly. Yes, we have not destroyed anyone unnecessarily, but we have shown strength and intelligence. The galaxy will respect us even if reluctantly, and humanity has proven that it can face any challenge, no matter how large, with courage, strategy, and unity. In the dark silence of space, human ships glided smoothly back to their positions, prepared for any future threats. The Council had been humbled, their fleets shaken and their assumptions shattered. The unseen power of humanity had been revealed, not through overwhelming violence, but through intelligence, coordination, and the clever use of every resource available. The stars above Earth shone quietly, bearing witness to a species that had emerged stronger than anyone expected. The galaxy had witnessed humanity's first true demonstration of power, and no one would ever underestimate them again. And on Earth,